Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear brothers and sisters, welcome to Youth Challenges. I'm your host, Faizan Mahmood, and with great pleasure today I have with me a man who is worthy of very compliments, an experienced barrister by profession, the principal and founder of very established law firm, Nationwide Law Associates, which are in fact a global, worldwide law firm, and more recently a politician and the chairman of Pakistan Khidmat-e-Khalq League, Barrister Mahmood Khan. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the sets of Youth Challenges.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you for inviting me on your program. It's my pleasure.
In fact, it is our pleasure to have such an esteemed guest here with us today. Today's topic, Barrister Saab, is on youth, and in particular youth empowerment and youth confidence. We receive a number of messages in our social media platforms, and over the series of our show we've received telephone calls from a number of young adults who claim that their confidence levels are not where they'd ideally like it to be, and occasionally they seek advice. So I thought to myself, who could be a better person to give such an advice than someone so established? So to begin, if we could give our viewers a little overview of what the topic today is about, youth empowerment. This term in itself, I think, is best if it's defined. So Barrister Saab, what would you say is empowerment? What is youth empowerment?
It's basically you are equipping young individuals with the tool of knowledge and confidence. It's very important. These two things are very important in order to empower young people. Confidence is the most important thing, and with knowledge they can apply the knowledge. Sometimes they may have the knowledge but do not have the confidence. I've seen in many times that people have knowledge, but if they don't have the confidence, they will not be able to apply that. So it's very important that you have the knowledge with the confidence, and you need to build the confidence in young people, because they are the future of any country. So it's important that youngsters develop their skills, and then they need to be given tasks, and these tasks need to be broken up in smaller tasks. So if they achieve their tasks, then they need to be improving their confidence. And I think it's very essential this day and age. I think seriously the youth is lacking in confidence, and this could be very detrimental for future.
Thank you for that, Barrister Saab. And I would definitely agree that there is a lack of confidence in today's youth. And I believe this can be attributed to a number of causes, which I think, rightly so, we will cover further on in this episode today. But before we go into the struggles of youth in finding their confidence, let us discuss how adults, parents, teachers, mentors, guardians, what they can do to assist a child, assist a young teenager in developing confidence, in developing youth empowerment.
You need to create an environment of trust, respect for the youngsters, open communication, providing mentorship, guidance. These things are very important. Once you actually created that environment where they can openly, with confidence, start speaking to you, and you encourage them to participate in open discussions, it's very important. We can, in fact, there was a recently I've been told there was an incident, a young man who actually lacked confidence, and he said to one of our colleagues that when he was young, his teacher would actually take 15 minutes out before the lesson, or in fact, before starting the lesson, he would individually communicate to this youngster and encourage him on a daily basis that you are special and you have abilities better than the others. So that encouragement actually carried him forward in life, and he actually participated just as with any individual who had full capacity. He obviously had some learning difficulties, but because of that effort of the teacher, at 15 minutes giving this youngster the encouragement that you can also achieve whatever you want to achieve. He did achieve that. And today he's actually working in one of the big law firms. So it's very important, basically, the environment and the encouragement.
Thank you, Barrister Saab. That is very inspiring to know that people who are, let's say, somewhat initially at a disadvantage, you have to work that extra step harder. For a teacher to go out of their way and ensure that this person has the same advantages and platform as someone with full capacity is very inspiring. Now, we've discussed a little bit about confidence. We've touched upon the detriment this can cause people. We've touched on what youth empowerment is. We've touched upon the difference that the people around youngsters can actually make in their life and shaping their future. But before we dive into this topic in more detail, I think what is essential is to discuss some of the detriment that a lack of confidence can cause. Personally, growing up in the UK, going to public schools, onto college, onto university, I've come across a number of students, friends who lacked a lot of confidence, and they were significantly bright, they were intelligent, they were motivated, but I've seen firsthand that the lack of confidence itself can cause a severe detriment in where you end up in your future. So, Barrister Saab, what I want to ask you is, what are some of the negative effects that a lack of confidence can have on one's life?
It can have a serious impacts. I can actually tell you that from my own experience, when I was about 15, 16, this is the time when the school actually decides to enter you for O levels or not. And I actually went to see the college or the school principal when he didn't actually enter me for the O levels. And when I went to see him, he basically said to me that you are not that have that kind of capacity, and therefore you're more of a laborer type, which just went straight to my head. And I said, when I looked around all the students who were entered for O levels, and I said to myself, what is the difference between them and me? The only difference was that they could actually sit down on a table almost whole day and do nothing else apart from study. And whereas me, I was not concentrating too much on my studies. But in all other aspects, I was far more active than they were. So those words of his went right into my head. And thank God, actually, if he said that, that really made me pull myself together. And in fact, 5 years later, I went to he was then moved on to another college, and I went I took a youngster for admission in that college, and I saw the same principal there, and he asked me the question, what are you doing now? And I said to him, I am a barrister. The shock on his face was amazing, and I said thank you for your words, because those words were extremely discouraging, but that really made me pull my act together, and I decided to make sure that I do better than the rest of these students that you actually did decide to enter, because I always believed myself better than these people. So it's the question of the building yourself up and giving a challenge to yourself, or giving yourself a goal that if others can do it, you can also do it. I mean, this role, as I said, can be played by your parents, your teachers, your leaders, your mentors. This is very important. In my case, I was thank God I was a very strong individual at that age, that I took that what he said to me in an insulting manner, and that really helped me to actually bring out the best in me. So it's very important that because most in my situation, most people would have basically that would have killed them off, and they would never be able to achieve anything. And in fact, I tell you one thing, amazing thing, that often when I give myself a task, the first thing that comes to my mind that I can't do it. Those words somehow psychologically linger behind in my mind somewhere. So it's very damaging for someone to say to a child that you can't do it. In fact, you need to You need to continuously encourage the child. You can do it. If others can do it, you can also do it. And as I said, a child who had a learning disability was continuously being told daily basis, you can do it. He did it. He did it at the end, achieved it. So it's very important the environment that you are living in. Plus the teamwork. You need to have a teamwork. You need to have a problem solving. All these things actually will help them to build in them a confidence and a sense of achievement.
Thank you, Barrister Saab. That is a very inspiring story, actually, and I think a lot of youngsters can probably take a lot of messages from that. And I suppose the moment when you saw this teacher once again must have been very satisfying to tell him where you are today.
Well, to be honest with you, it's almost like a scene from a film.
I can imagine so.
It was just, God gave me that opportunity to actually tell him, and the impression on his face when I told him I'm a barrister, and it was only 5-year period. There was a young man who he basically said, oh, "You're not even capable. You're just a labourer type." And within that 5-year period, I saw him and I said, "I'm a barrister now," and it's absolutely he had no words to say. He was just complete. He didn't say nothing after that. So he became speechless. But that is sometimes it is important. If you are a stronger character, then these kind of words can actually help you to pull yourself together. But if you are lacking confidence, then these kind of words can actually destroy you altogether. You may have the ability, but if you're not in a proper environment, and the encouragement is not there, the confidence is not. You see, if your parents keep telling you something that you can't do this, you're not capable of doing this, you're a waste of time, you're a lazy. These things, if they actually slowly over the period of time stick in your head. And then you become useless. You cannot fight, these negative thoughts. You must have a positive thoughts. The leadership quality can be built in everybody. This is what we are trying to achieve at the moment. We are telling everybody in our party, every member, we are telling that you all are leaders. Let's not just follow a few people and make them your leader and ask them to solve your problems. We are saying you yourself stand up, be counted, and you have the leadership quality. You also lead. It becomes it's a team effort, not an individual thing. So once you have people who are working to their potential, then you can actually change the society. Then you can change, bring change very easily. But if you say one person and the rest of them are just sitting there, not taking any active part in it, then things become extremely difficult.
Definitely, and I think from this story, myself especially, 2 key lessons that we can take is first, you should have enough confidence not to let anyone bring you down. You should know what you're capable of, as you did, and the outcome is self-explanatory. And the second is, if we look at this from the other perspective, the teacher's perspective, he could have potentially brought down a very, bright student with a lot of potential. That one comment could have changed the direction of this person's life. And, a lot of people that watch our show from many different demographics, and I suppose some may be teachers, some may be in a position of mentorship, parentship, and they have that power where they can make or break a personality of a child. So definitely being considerate towards what you say and how you approach things is a lesson that we can take from that inspirational story. Barrister Saab, if there was one message that you could give the youth, one message, with confidence as a prime objective, what would that be?
It's important to know yourself. It's very, very important. You are the best thing that happened in the universe. God has created the human being as best of mankind, or best of all his creatures. The abilities that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you, they are the best. So everything is in you. You just need to explore that, build upon it, bring the, develop a confidence that if others can do it, you can also do it. Never, every day have a positive thought that you can achieve your goals. Never allow negative thoughts to basically take your, because once you allow the negative thoughts to take over your mind, you will never be able to create anything. In order to create something, you have to say to yourself that you can, you can do it. You have a positive thoughts. You are the best creator of creature of God, and you will. You see, you as long as you keep on trying, you may learn from your failure. Next time around, you will do better. It's simple as that. You just simply keep on trying and keep on improving yourself and learn from your mistakes. Don't give up. If you give up, that's it. That's the end of it. Learning never stops, and as long as life is there, you continue to challenge yourself. Challenging yourselves, actually, you'll be surprised at times that when you challenge yourself, the achievement that, or the goal that you wanted to achieve, once you achieve that, you sometimes you yourself be surprised that because you were thinking that it's not in you. You don't have that ability. But obviously, by challenging, putting goals, tasks before yourself, and when you achieve that, you learn that there are qualities in you which you really thought they were not there. But the only way they will come out when you put yourself in a difficult situation, when you put a goal or a task in front of you, and you say, "I'm going to achieve it," and with the positive thoughts, you will definitely, inshallah, will achieve it, and that will actually help you to improve your confidence, and it will help you to learn more about yourself.
Brilliant. That is very motivational, Barrister Saab, and I think this, that message for the youth must be very inspiring, and I would encourage the youth to actually take notes and try and adopt that into their life. Now, because personally I'm of the view that confidence and empowerment go hand in hand. Likewise, I'm of the view that parallel to these factors is self-doubt. Self-doubt is a phenomenon which everyone at some point or even every day suffers from. And there's an inspirational story I'd like to share where when I was studying at university, there was one module I was doing in particular which was very intense. And I was reading the book, and there was a particular chapter I could not digest, I could not comprehend it. And I kept reading it and I kept reading, and eventually I closed the book and I thought to myself, this is way too difficult. But then my father, my dad, he said to me that, you see this book, the person that wrote this book was just a man. And I thought, yeah, well, that's a given. Of course it was just a man. And I didn't understand what was behind it, but no, the person that wrote the book was just a man. He wasn't a superhuman. He didn't have knowledge beyond what mere humans have. He was just an ordinary person. And if he can write that book, surely you can read that book and understand it. And in fact, you can even write a book. And that in itself was what gave me at the time motivation to reopen that chapter, to read through it and say to myself, you know what, this is not difficult. It's something I can understand. It's something I can conquer. I can be beyond this. I can, understand this. And that's what I did. So likewise, it just comes to show that self-doubt is natural. A lot of people, I have a friend who in particular, whenever he doubts himself, he enters this rabbit hole of self-doubt. And no matter what he does goes wrong. Even if, for example, he doubted himself in, let's say, this particular aspect of his life, every other aspect of his life starts taking a wrong turn because he's lost his confidence momentarily. And it takes a while for him to rebuild that. So self-doubt in itself can be a severe issue. So this is something I want to discuss with you, Barrister Saab, but whenever you're having fun, time seems to just pass way too quickly. So we've come up to a break now. So we'll take a short break, and viewers, do stay tuned in because there's a lot more to talk about and we need to benefit a lot more from our esteemed guest today. So see you shortly. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.